I think there's something strange going on here.
Yes, Mr. Stobart. At last you see the truth.
No, Father, I mean that the robbery looks like an inside job.
The devil's work is always an inside job.
A wire in the painting's alarm was deliberately cut.
Cut by the devil himself, perhaps.
Well, as far as I know, sightings of guys with horns and tails have been a little down recently.
You mock me, Mr. Stobart. But as you will discover, the devil likes to have the last laugh.
Tell me about the stolen painting.
Whoever gets close to it will burn in hell.
What do you know about the man who painted La Maledictio?
El Serp. He was a man playing with fire, the fire of eternal damnation.
Would you like this piece of pizza?
A man has just died. No, thank you.
He definitely looked better. I put the glasses back where they were. Best to leave the evidence the way I found it. Poor guy. Poor guy. There was a small piece of paper in the dead man's hand. It was too intriguing not to take a look. It read, 2:30 p.m., be ready. Innocent enough, until I realized that the robbery took place at 2:30 p.m. There was something fishy going on around here, and it wasn't just the canapes. I quickly replaced the note. In Henri's pocket was a tiny bottle. It was a bottle of Brett. The label claimed it would wake the beast within. Poor guy. Poor guy. I didn't want Henri's blood on my hands. I didn't want Henri's... Hair today, gone tomorrow. I decided to let Henri's toupee rest. A cryptic note in a bottle of overpowering cologne. No personal effects or anything else of substance. I definitely needed to check out that office. I still needed to figure out the code to that keypad. The label said it was painted in 1932. The gallery wanted 80 grand for it. A rare glimpse into the absinthe-addled mind of the artist. A snip at only 80 grand. I'd already tried the alarm on that one. Another working alarm. So the thief took the only painting whose alarm had been sabotaged. But why that painting? Why that particular one? Just $90,000 for this one. For the discerning connoisseur, a soupçon at 80,000. I didn't think there was any need to test another painting alarm. It was clear that only one alarm had been sabotaged. All I needed was a mere 65,000, and this little gem could be mine. Father?
Yes, my son.
Hey, Father. How about a squirt?
I think not.
Do you know...
I've already told.
Is there anything else you can tell me about La Maledizio?
I've said everything I care to on the subject.
As they say, every artist... The poster looked old. I didn't want to touch it. In the pocket was a pair of nail clippers. They were monogrammed with the letters HL. Lane was out cold. I was going to need something to bring him around. Time to awaken the beast. What?
What was that? It smells like the 70s. Where am I?
You fainted. Welcome back to the land of the living.
I wouldn't exactly call this living. Don't just stand there. Get me something to eat. I've had a terrible shock, you know.
I found a slice of pizza.
I asked for food, boy, not a cardboard simulacrum.
Oh, okay, if you don't want it.
I didn't say that. Now give it here. Given the circumstances, that was surprisingly acceptable. Now, what's been going on? Oh, Henri, is he
Dead? Afraid so.
poor chap? Just like him to steal the limelight, though.
Excuse me.
Do I know?
Yes, our paths have crossed in the Glees Gallery.
Of course, the man with the absinthe. I don't suppose you...
Afraid not.
Pity. I'm sorry, but I'm having trouble remembering your name.
I'm George Stobart. I insured the exhibition.
I hope you have deep pockets then, my boy.
Could I ask you a few questions, Mr. Lane?
Fire away.
I don't suppose you know the code to that door, do you?
Of course. I am, after all, the curator of this exhibition. But I couldn't possibly give you access to the office before the police arrive.
I figured I wasn't going to get the door code from Lane by playing nice. I needed to turn the heat up. Lane had the kind of looks that only a lifetime of fine dining can create. Are these your nail clippers, Mr. Lane?
Yes, they have my initials monogrammed on them.
Huh. The perfect implement for cutting the alarm on the stolen painting.
What are you saying?
Well, the alarm was sabotage, Mr. Lane. It was an inside job.
Are you accusing me? How dare you? I had no reason to kill Henri, no motive whatsoever.
Okay, but I don't think the cops will see it like that. And I sure would like that door code. How about it, Mr. Lane? Ready to give me the door code yet?
Certainly not. Give me a single reason why I should.
Guilty by way of nail clippers.
I've been away from Paris for several days and only got back this morning. How could I have cut that wire?
This is an inside job for sure, Mr. Lane. The police are going to be very interested in your recent movements.
I've been out of town for several days, and last night I retired early.
Just saying.
You're not going to scare me into giving you that door code, you know.
I was onto something here, and I knew it. Lane was sweating. It wasn't pretty. How about it, Mr. Lane?
Certainly not.
Guilty by...
I've been away from Paris.
An unusual painting turns up at your exhibition and gets stolen. Doesn't look good, does it?
And your point is?
The cops are going to ask some awkward questions. But you give me the code to the CCTV room, and I'll do my best to point them elsewhere.
I cannot let you into that room, Mr. Besides, Henri found La Malédiction, not me. I had nothing to do with it.
So, you and Henri, not the best of pals, huh?
He and I had a convivial, professional relationship.
Trouble is, I'm not seeing many tears, Mr. Lane.
Are you trying to accuse me?
The cops will be looking for a motive. Just give me the code to the door.
You're going to have to try hard.
So, you'd been out of town?
That's right. I've not been near the gallery for days.
How about some more of this?
I don't think so. As a sel volatile, it was acceptable. As a cologne, it would be barbaric.
Guilty by way...
Sheer fantasy. What possible motive...
Lane had the kind of looks that only... Father?
Yes,
Do you know anything else about El Serp?
I've already...
Do you recognize these?
Nail clippers?
Take a look at this, Father.
I've already given you my thoughts about that.
Father Simeon looked troubled, but who wouldn't after witnessing a murder? I wondered if there was anything out here I could use to put the heat on Lane. I've always been a sucker for Parisian stained glass. The room looked like some sort of office for the gallery. I could just see the glow of the CCTV monitor in the corner. For a moment, I contemplated getting on the next train out of here. But a man was dead, and I had a job to do. From out here, you couldn't see the stolen painting. This robber... I've always... That wouldn't have worked. That was never... That was never... Nico still wasn't answering her phone. It was a pissoir. I needed a better... That wasn't quite right. That wouldn't work. I had nothing new to tell Rickenbacker, and he... The bust was balanced precariously on the pedestal. I didn't want Henri's blood on my... That would be point... That wouldn't work. He wouldn't have any use for that now. Poor guy. I didn't need to look at the note a second time. It wasn't tough to remember. 2:30 p.m., be ready. Poor guy. The cable for the camera ran into the room marked private. I still needed to figure out... The clippers were the perfect size to cut the wire. Could Lane be the saboteur? I had to find out. That was How about it, Mr. Lane? Ready to give me the door code yet?
Certainly not.
Guilty by way of nail clippers.
I've been away from Paris for several days and only got back this morning. How could I have cut that wire?
I hate to say this, Mr. Lane, but you're gonna...
So you keep saying, Mr.
So you'd been out of town and hit the...
That's right.
Mr. Lane, this robbery is...
As I said, I shall Ugh, keep
Guilty by
sheer fantasy.
Lane had the kind of looks that only a lifetime of fine dining can create. I decided to leave it alone. For the discerning connoisseur, I wondered if there was anything out here I could use to put the heat on Lane. I needed a better idea. That was all. That would be pointless. That was never. That what? Nope. I needed to try something else. Excuse me.
Monsieur?
There's just been a robbery at the gallery.
Oh, really?
You don't sound surprised.
All property is theft, monsieur. And all art is property. Therefore, all art is theft. Do you not agree?
Well, when you put it like that, it's hard not to. Thank you for your
Perhaps next time you come, I will give you a coffee. Perhaps not.
Hi.
You assume, monsieur.
Did you see anybody run out of the gallery?
There was a beautiful woman with a camera. She was chasing somebody.
Oh, that must have been Nico.
You know her? You surprise me.
Can you tell me anything about the man she was chasing?
I assume, monsieur, that like all of us, he is inherently unknowable.
No wonder this guy's cafe was empty. The gallery owner, Henri, was shot dead trying to stop the robbery.
Life has no meaning the moment you lose the illusion of being eternal.
Right. Did you know him well?
Can we ever truly know another human being, monsieur? He spent little time at the cafe, unlike his friend, Monsieur Lane.
What do you know about Hector Lane?
Lane? Oh, yes. He drinks here sometimes. He slid away last night without paying.
Last night? What sort of time?
After midnight, for sure. If you see him, give him this bill, and tell him to pay up next time.
The check was from last night, but Lane told me he was nowhere near the gallery. This could be the leverage I needed to get the office door code from Lane. What do you know about Le Lizard Bleu?
It's bourgeois, vacuous, and overpriced. Just like its curator Lane. He's always in here, you know, talking art to his latest flusier.
Do you recognize these?
They are nailed.
Would you like a squirt of this?
Are you suggesting I smell, monsieur?
No, sorry. Thank you for your time, monsieur. Take a look at this.
What of it?
It's your bill from the cafe next door.
So?
It's dated yesterday. Last night, in fact. 12:30 to be exact. You said you were out of town. You sure drank a lot of champagne last night without paying the bill. But you told me that you were away from Paris last night. I hate to say it, but that sounds like a lie to me. Tell you what, you give me the code to the door, and the police need never know. A motive and proof of involvement. Not looking good, Mr. Lane.
You are a blackmailer, Stobart.
Just doing my job.
All right. You have me. The number is 6397. But I admit to none of these spurious accusations.
I had the code. The police would be here any moment, so I had to work fast. What was that number again? 642... No.
Everyone, hold it right there.
Damn it.
I am Inspector Navet of the Paris Serious Crime Squad, and I hereby declare this crime scene open. Closed. Now, nobody move, especially you on the floor. Mo, I want a total lockdown. Nobody in or out. Apart from me, of course.
I needed to get back into the gallery, but a familiar figure was guarding the door. It was Sergeant Mou. Our paths had crossed before. Sergeant Mou, we meet again.
Aha, Madame Collard, an unexpected pleasure.
I was in the gallery at the time of the theft. Can I get back in?
I am sorry, but I am under strict orders from Inspector Navet. Nobody in, nobody out. And I must correct you, Madame. It is no longer just a theft. It is a murder.
Mon Dieu! That poor man! Here's my press card. Do you have a statement for the paper?
Yes, Madame. Stay away from the crime scene and let the police do their job. And always leave a light on when you go out at night.
I witnessed the crime. I've got to get back in there.
I'm sure you can make an official statement in good time.
I saw the thief. I think I can help the investigation.
I am implacable, Madame Collard.
I chased after the shooter and got a photo of him.
Inspector Navet will be delighted.
You've got to let me into the gallery to show him.
Absolutely not.
So, I cannot go in without Inspector Navet's permission?
No.
And to get Inspector Navet's permission, I need to go in.
Exactement.
Have you ever heard of Kafka, Sergeant Mu?
Madame Collard, I do not see what soccer players have to do with this.
No, he's a... Never mind. Who is Inspector Nave?
The most promising young investigator on the force. A genius. A man blessed with almost superhuman insight.
He sounds highly perspicacious.
Madame, it is not for us to talk about the inspector's sweaty proclivities. He is about to solve his third case in as many days.
So, what's he got that the other investigators don't have?
Blood spatter. He is the world expert. He reads the entrails of the crime scene like a book.
I really need to get into the gallery and speak to...
Tut. He is not to be... He is applying his fame any moment now. I certainly hope so. I am dog-tired and...
This was madness. Sergeant Mu wasn't going to let me in. Why are you so tired, Sergeant Mu?
I have been working for 3 days with no rest. Nave is a genius in his field, and he assumes that we all have his energy and vigor.
Oh, you poor man. If you'd like to go and get some sleep, I will watch the door for you.
That's very thoughtful of you. Ha! A cunning attempt to make me a deserter, madame. A gendarme never leaves his post.
Well, how about a hot drink?
Ah, that would do the trick for sure. Unfortunately, I mustn't drink on duty. My doctor specifically warned me against it after the last... incident.
That incident you mentioned, what happened exactly?
I don't want to talk about it. All I can say is it was very unfortunate. I am on duty, and I need to focus.
Thanks a lot, Sergeant Mu. You've been so helpful.
Madame,
Bonjour, monsieur.
whatever it is you want, we are closed.
Then why are you standing here?
You would not understand, madame.
Try me.
Because I look at you, and I know you are like all the others.
The others?
The pretty women who shop, who gossip, who have their spa days, their almond croissant.
That bad, huh?
And the men with their grooming products and their shiny shoes and their skinny suits who come to my cafe and ask me for lattes, macchiatos, frappés.
I see your point.
Is this what we fought on the barricades for, madame? Ripped up the paving slabs, bled on the streets.
Isn't it?
No, madame, it is not. We fought for ideas, for philosophy, for freedom, equality, fraternity.
Vive la révolution.
And do you know what drove us on as we fought? What fueled the streets of Paris in that glorious spring? What made our hearts soar?
Cheap wine and free sex?
No, madame, no! It was French Café Noir that inspired us. The simple demi-tasse. The black, sweet taste of freedom.
So that's why you closed?
Yes, madame. I serve only thinkers, philosophers, revolutionaries. And you, madame, with your polite top and your pointy ears, are none of those things.
This is a cafe.
Yes, to the right people.
On any other day, I would have given this guy a straight one to the chin. But there was a chance he could help me get into the gallery. Hi, Georges. I'm outside the gallery.
Thank God you're safe, Nico. I tried the phone, but I couldn't get an answer.
Inspector Moo is out here and he's not letting me in. I managed to grab a couple of photos, but the guy got away.
Poor Henri is dead.
I know. Why kill him?
I've been trying to find out. Turns out the alarm was tampered with. Looks to me like an inside job.
So, no ordinary robbery?
And no ordinary painting. The priest claims that La Maledicio is evil. I need to get into the office and see what the CCTV has to offer. Maybe you can help me out when you get back in here.
Monsieur,
Life is fleeting, madame. The sands of time are running.
well,
We know not what we want, and yet we are...
there's been a crime.
That is terrible, madame. But you...
No, but I think you're...
Life begins on the other side of despair. C'est vrai, no?
Well, like... He was pushing me to the...
During the riots, we battled the forces of oppression.
Oh, really? That must have...
It was. Except that they made me stay behind the barricades with the other baristas. We made coffee by the liter to fuel the resistance. I've never brewed so much coffee. Of course, our brave heroes spent half their time going for a pee. But with our coffee inside them, they fought the running dogs all night long.
None of this was helping me get past...
Au revoir.
The waiter watched over his tables with barely disguised contempt. Here's my press card.
La Liberté. Madame, you are not the person that I took you to be. You must accept my deepest, my most profound apologies.
Well, of course I accept. But why?
La Liberté, the great journal of freedom. At the height of the battle, as the tear gas blew and the blood flowed, it was La Liberté which carried the voice of our revolution to the world. I know now that you are not the kind of woman who would ask me for almond croissant. You are a true daughter of France, and I am your humble servant.
Monsieur,
The road to enlightenment is a long...
could we have a
Any...
How about some coffee?
For you, madame, of course. There is only one coffee that I can serve you. Black, strong, and in a tiny cup. One moment. Here is your coffee, madame.
Thank you, monsieur. The coffee was hot and strong. Could you make me a coffee to go?
For a fellow revolutionary? Of course, madame. One moment. Here's your takeaway coffee, madame.
Thank you, monsieur. Did you see anything happen?
I saw you running after a pizza delivery guy. Somebody said he killed someone.
That's true. He stole a painting and shot the gallery owner.
How close we are to death. And yet how far from ever comprehending it.
Well, right now I need to get back in...
I applaud you, madame, to...
As a journalist... Sergeant Moo, I brought you a coffee.
Coffee? Fantastic. Just what I need. But wait. I must not. My little problem.
I'm sure one little cup of coffee won't hurt.
I'm tempted, madame, but I cannot risk it. I am sorry.
So, this incident, it involved you, some coffee, and your little problem?
It is a tale of woe, madame.
I'm all ears, Sergeant.
Well, since you seem quite understanding, I shall elaborate.
Please do.
I was in charge of canine security for the President himself. One day, en vacances, he went for a private discussion with a lady minister. I stayed alone with his dog, but I had drunk a coffee to stay awake, and nature came to call. So I tied the dog to a tree and went for a secret pee-pee. When I came back, the dog was having a liaison dangereuse with the lady minister's terrier.
But how did they find out?
Well, 2 months later, the President's Labrador gave birth to 6 beautiful mongrels. And I was busted to sergeant just after the President's divorce came through.
You are a victim of a great injustice, Sergeant.
You think so?
But of course. You knew you must not fall asleep at your post. You were guarding the President himself.
Well, the President's dog.
Ah, it was the same thing.
Yes, I suppose.
And by drinking that coffee, you made the ultimate sacrifice for our glorious republic, your career.
Now you put it like that?
And now France is calling you again. She is saying, "Drink, Sergeant Moo, drink!"
She is?
She is. Drink or fall asleep at your post. Which is it to be?
I suppose it is drink?
Bravo, Sergeant!
Oh dear. Oh dear. Excuse me, madame. I must use the petit gendarme's room. It has gone straight through me. Could you watch the gallery door for me?
Oh, you can count on me, Sergeant. I distracted Moo. It was now or never.
How did you get past Sergeant Moo? Well, you won't fool me so easily, madame. I shall question you later.
Nico, am I glad to see you.
So, what's the problem?
The inspector's watching me like a hawk. I'll never get in without some sort of distraction.
I'll see what I can do. Inspector Nave, I presumed. According to Moo, he was a CSI star, with a passion for blood spatter analysis. Inspector Nave, do you have a moment?
My time is of the essence. Be quick now.
I suppose this is quite a complex case, Inspector.
It is a robbery gone bad. Nothing more, nothing less.
Surely there's a bit more to it than that.
Please abstain from baseless conjecture, madame. The victim's body paints a simple picture, more reliable than any witness statement. Consider the impact of the bullet and note the concomitant lack of blood. A casual homicide, nothing more.
Don't you find it odd that the thief chose that one particular painting?
Life is full of odd things, madame. Fingerless gloves, white dog poo-poo, nasal hair. I prefer to concern myself with murder.
Did you see the alarm was sabotaged?
I have interrogated the crime scene, madame. I am fully aware of the disabled security. I prefer biological evidence to the merely circumstantial. Body parts, blood, important things.
Don't you think the disabled alarm is highly suspicious, though?
The forensic team will be along shortly. Voice your concerns to them. Do not bother me with this circumstantial fliff-flaff.
What do you think about the American, Georges?
He is deeply suspicious.
Why don't you check out the security camera footage?
Madame, that is not my area of expertise. It is the body which concerns me.
But the CCTV footage is evidence. It could help identify the killer.
Correction, madame. It is but an indicator. The only true evidence is bodily fluid. Unless you know something I don't, then please...
The only evidence Inspector Nave seemed to appreciate involved gore. Could you give me a statement, Inspector?
Now is not the time, madame.
Thanks, Inspector. I'll let you know if I remember anything else. If I was going to distract Nave, I needed to unearth new evidence or concoct some. And the bloodier, the better. At least now the place was a little tidier. Excuse me, Father.
Father Simeon, my child.
Are you okay, Father?
It's a terrible shock, but yes, I am fine, thank you.
Could I ask you some questions about the crime?
What kind of questions?
I'm a reporter for La Liberté.
I suppose it cannot hurt. Please ask away.
Did you see anything that might help identify the killer?
The devil takes many forms, child.
Anything would help.
I am sorry, my dear. My mind...
What do you think about that stain?
Is that blood?
I think it's just sauce. I wonder if there's a mop anywhere.
We are facing death and divine retribution. This is no time for tidying up.
Father Simeon wasn't making much sense. Thank you for your... The tomato sauce had splattered on the floor. I spread some of this sauce around with my shoe. It looked a little bit like a blood stain, but it still wasn't right. If I was going to distract the cop, I had to get rid of that gum. No way was I going to clean that up with my bare hands. It was a blob of chewing gum, probably carried in on somebody's shoe. I scraped up the chewing gum with my press card, hoping the inspector wouldn't notice. Inspector!
Yes?
Have you seen the stain on the floor over there? It looks like blood.
Indeed. How very curious. I must investigate immediately, before one of these idiots steps in it. Interesting. Maybe it is time to employ the machine.
Okay, Georges, that should distract him for a while.
Nice work, Nico. I'll let you know what I find in the office. I was sure the inspector hadn't seen me slip away, but I needed to be quick, because it wouldn't take him long. A pair of evil eyes stared from a partially covered poster. A pair of evil eyes stared from a The CCTV system was ancient. It took individual shots and recorded them to tape. It looked like I needed to enter a passcode to view the recording. Nope. It was a small keypad. I needed to find a 4-digit number. In the trash can, I found a crumpled letter from Henri's credit card company, demanding immediate payment. It listed extravagant purchases from a variety of ladies' fashion stores. The address indicated that Henri lived in the chic and expensive 16th arrondissement of Paris. I decided to put the letter back. Henri's financial problems weren't my business. But now I knew where he lived. There was nothing else in the drawer. The folder looked interesting. This was very definitely tampering with evidence. It was a completion of work notice from a company called Vera Security. They weren't the guys we'd recommended. Henri had gone behind our backs to choose a different security outfit. I'd never heard of Vera Security, but there was an address and phone number on the form. I had no reason to search the desk again. It was hard to tell if the lava lamp was retro or just plain old. The telephone was an antique rotary model. The calendar looked like a child's school project. Henri had ringed 27th May and scrawled birthday. Poor guy hadn't quite made it to his big day. The poster advertised a 1975 Stockholm Music Festival, headlined by a group called... Henri had a model of a VW camper van painted in hip. The engine capacity was displayed on the back. Henri sure liked his clutter. The statue was jaunty. Up close and personal, I could see that the fig leaf was hinged. Thankfully, there was no one around to see me do this. Very interesting. I wasn't going to open the safe without the key. I was fairly sure that even Henri wouldn't be silly enough to keep it hidden in the office. I wasn't going to open the safe without the key. The sofa had clearly taken some punishment over the years. A naked lady stared at me seductively. Henri sure had his quirks. The street was quiet. The woman in the picture looked vaguely familiar. It was a pretty flamboyant-looking clock. I had no reason to... The frame containing pressed flowers. The trinkets, the junk, the instruments. Henri was kind of a hippie at heart. I didn't imagine Henri as a musician. Henri may have been a hippie, but a hippie with plenty of disposable income. A pair of evil eyes stared from a partially covered poster. It was a hookah pipe. Those things gave me a headache. Henri may have been a hippie, but a pair of evil eyes. It was a battered... Henri's notice board was covered with all kinds of junk. It was a statue of Henri bearing almost everything. A strategically placed fig leaf protected his modesty. I needed a better idea. I knew it'd be wrong to leave the room without checking it thoroughly. It looked like Henri had saved the best booze for the back room. I had no reason to search. The completion note from Vera's security. There was an address.
Hello, Vera Security?
George Stobart here, Paris Mutual.
Never heard of you.
Really? Well, I'm surprised. We're leaders in our field in commercial insurance, and our brand recognition is...
Do me a favor. Don't call back.
The lady hung up. I was going to have to visit in person. It would have been stupid to... Besides, I really didn't want to attract any attention. Mr. Rickenbacker? I found a piece of paper that shows Henri went against my recommendations for security.
And?
I guess I'm just wondering why.
Well, you're on the case, Stobart. Just find out where that painting's gone.
The phone was vintage. was a cheesy lava lamp. It was a statue of... I opened the compartment. Now that was a safe. No way I'd be able to pick it. I wasn't going to open the safe without the key. I wasn't going to open the... That wouldn't have... There was a crumpled letter in the way. It was a small... That was never going to work. No. I needed to find a 4-digit number. Henri had ringed 27th May and scrawled birthday. Bingo. I rewound the tape to before the robbery. This was the first interesting frame. It was Henri studying La Malédiction. He couldn't have had any idea what was about to happen. Nico and I were taking a look at La Malédiction just before the robbery. Funny, the painting didn't strike me as remarkable at the time, just odd. A good view of La Malédiction. I could kind of see why Father Simeon thought it was evil. There was a certain presence about it. The button had an arrow pointing to the right. The killer caught in the act. There was nothing really distinctive about him. The moment it all went horribly wrong. The killer making his getaway. The painting was gone. There I was, taking a look at the alarm box. Hopefully I didn't look too suspicious. I hadn't thought about that when I was taking a look at the camera. That was the last shot. I realized I might have missed something from the earlier shots. That was the most... Not my best angle. The alarm should have sounded when the... But it had been sounded. I wondered who could have done that. Maybe Lane or perhaps even Vera Security, who'd installed the system. The alarm should have sounded. Whoever was wearing that helmet was going to pay for what he did. A logo on the front of his helmet read Waterloo Motors. That could be useful. The alarm should have sounded. Poor Henri. The next shot had a better view of the writing on his helmet. The image was a little fuzzy, but in the center of the painting was what looked like a snake eating its own tail. I thought about what the priest said. There was definitely something unsettling about the picture. Why hadn't Henri backed down when the thief pulled the gun? If that was me, I'd have done whatever the guy... Why hadn't Henri backed down when the thief pulled the gun? Why hadn't Henri backed down when the thief pulled the gun? The alarm should have sounded when the killer took the painting. The next shot had a better view of... This frame caught the moment the killer took the painting. The CCTV had caught the killer in the act of lifting La Malediccio from the wall. He knew exactly which painting to take. The most striking aspect of the painting was a snake eating its own tail. The most striking... It seemed that whenever Nico stepped back into my life, so did trouble. There I was, looking at the exhibition. That shot must have been before anyone else arrived at the gallery. Was Henri studying that picture, or did he look worried? There was definitely more to this robbery than I first thought. The most striking... That was the early...
Monsieur, sir, you have snuck in here, and now you are tampering with my evidence.
I'm just looking for the name of the caterer. That cheese was to die for.
Ah, to die for? To kill for. I put it to you, Monsieur... Monsieur...
Stobart. George Stobart.
I put it to you that you came here in search of cheese and killed the owner in a fromage-induced frenzy.
Well, no. I'm from Paris Mutual. We insured the exhibition.
Oh, really?
Yes, really.
Time will tell, monsieur.
Truth will out, Inspector.
Who dares wins, Monsieur Stobart?
He who laughs last laughs loudest, Inspector Nave. The guy was seriously nuts.
May I remind you, monsieur, that a serious crime has been committed. I am going to have to ask you to return to the gallery.
Of course, but I do need to ask you a few questions.
D'accord. But remember, anything you say can be used against you, Monsieur Stobart.
Okay, I'll bear that in mind. Do you know anything about a company called Vera Security?
No, I have never heard of them. Now, I must get on with my investigation.
It's very likely that the security camera holds a clue to the killer's identity.
Monsieur, I am a professional, and you are an amateur. So, leave the... Monsieur, you are American, no?
Yeah, California born and bred.
Of course. I think perhaps you are wanting to be like that Starsky and Butch, monsieur. No? Rolling around on top of fast cars with beautiful ladies, firing your gun.
Interesting idea, Inspector, but not really my style.
Indeed. Well, let me tell you something, monsieur. You are my prime suspect. You may go now, but I will need to speak with you again.
I had some valuable leads, but before following up on them, I had important business to attend to. Hey, Nico, you want to grab a quick cup of coffee?
Sure.
I am pleased to announce that I have finished my preliminary investigation. This is now an official crime scene, and you must all go. I shall be questioning all of you again in the coming days. Nobody is to leave the country, particularly you, Monsieur Stobart. Monsieur Lane will stay behind to help secure the premises. Mo?
Yes, Inspector.
Let them out.
Right away, sir.
Two coffees, please.
Nice work in there, Nico. Whatever you did, it worked.
I just made a tiny distraction, and Nave bought it.
I think Nave would buy anything if it had blood on it. You know, this whole setup, the theft, the murder, it just doesn't make sense.
What do you mean?
The security firm that Henri used was not the one I recommended.
Well, that's understandable. I've been to restaurants that you recommended.
I've got their address. Maybe they can tell me who could have had access to that alarm. The CCTV picked up an image of the thief. His helmet had the words Waterloo Motors written across it.
Interesting. I think I got a couple of good shots of him too, but I need to take a better look at them at home.
Great. Let me know what you find. Like I said, I think it was an inside job.
Go on.
Someone disabled the alarm, but on just one painting.
Let me guess. La Maledictio.
Exactly. And I aim to find out who did it. Well, the priest thinks La Maledictio is evil.
Charles, she's just crazy.
Yeah, you're probably right. But there's something strange going on.
Good luck with your investigations. Well, I guess I should go. This story won't write itself. And Georges?
Yeah?
It's good to see you again.
Great to see you too, Nico. I watched her walk away. The sound of traffic, the sun shining, a crime to solve, and Nico back in my life. The address led me to a dead-end alley at the end of a deadbeat mall. No wonder I'd never heard of Vera Security. Phone covers, cassettes, all sorts. The stall was a myriad of retro kitsch. Bottle stoppers, key... Vera Security. I was going to get some answers there. I hoped. The guy managed to look busy, even though he had no customers. Hi! I wonder if you can help me. I'm looking for Vera's security.
Yes, of course. It's the...
Thank you. The name's George, by the way.
Call me Bassam. And do please forgive me, but I'm in no mood to talk. I have a resounding headache.
Bad migraine, eh?
The worst. The buzzing and flashing from the old sign is killing me. I thought the neon sign had potential until it broke.
Is it your sign?
No, the previous owners. Used to be a restaurant. But this is horrible. Adversely affecting my footfall and giving me a splitting headache.
You want me to try fixing that sign for you?
Do you know what you're doing?
I'm very good at fixing things.
Then please do. I'm no good at electricals. Marketing analysis and predicting trends is more my thing.
Vera's security.
Help!
What's wrong?
There's a monster
What? Where?
on the floor. Get rid of it.
Oh, the cockroach.
Yes, the cockroach. Help!
Come here, little fella. I was never going to catch it with my bare hands. That was almost a good... That would have violated the Chemical Weapons Convention. I needed a better... The reason for the lady's distress was plain. A giant cockroach roamed the floor. There was a huge cockroach. Romanov's, a Russian brand cigarette. The pack was empty. A crumpled cigarette pack. As a child, I'd always been told not to play with matches. The ashtray was full of cigarette butts. The filters were gold-colored, very exotic. I went to take a closer look. I tipped out the matches. I couldn't catch it just by swiping at it. I'd need to entice it closer. I couldn't catch it just by swiping at it. I'd need to entice it. Never in a month of Sundays. That wasn't worth... I think cockroaches are kind of cute. I was never going to... There were crumbs on the floor. No wonder the cockroach... I set down my matchbox. Cockroaches like hiding in dark places. Not a bad idea when you think about it. Cockroach wasn't going for it. I needed some bait. The box needed some... Hello.
Cockroach! I see the little beggar.
A crumpled cigarette pack. The ashtray was full of... I took a good look at the sign. The wiring was exposed and the cover broken. No wonder it was flashing. I pulled the wire off. Well, that was one way to stop the letters flashing. Now only half the sign was illuminated. The buzzing and flashing...
And I am very grateful. But the sign still looks pretty terrible, doesn't it? When you're building a brand from the ground up, name is everything. I need a name that makes my customers long for adventure and treasures from faraway places.
Could you help me with a vermin problem, please?
I'm sorry, until I kickstart this business, I don't really have time for ancillary projects. I need a brand. A clear message that grabs my key demographic by the lapels and hurls them into my economic bailiwick.
Excuse me?
You know, a name that sounds magical and exotic, that appeals to a yearning they only feel subconsciously.
I could take a look at your sign, come up with something.
You are like a genie from a magic lamp.
I decided to keep the wire. If Bassam knew how flimsy the sign was, he wouldn't be happy. I've got some matches.
Always good to have.
Tell me about your business.
This stall is going to put me through college, while giving me field experience. But the nonsense sign is working against me. It should spell a name for my shop. I need something original, yet familiar, bright and in your face, yet subtle and symbolic.
Do you know anything about...
Not really. I haven't been here long, but neither have they by the looks of it.
Why do you say that?
Rush setup, new sign, low investment, and no customers except for you.
I didn't think there was much point. The sign looked pretty... The sign looked pretty sad. Seemed the letters could be moved around. Shame it didn't have the right letters to spell Bassam. I'd have to think of something else. That was never... I needed a better idea. Phone covers, cassettes, all sorts. The guy managed to look busy. Could you help me with...
As I said, I'm sorry, until I kickstart this business, I need a brand. A clear message that grabs my key demographic by the lapels and hurls them into my economic bailiwick.
Excuse me?
You know, a name that sounds magical and exotic, that appeals to a yearning they only feel subconsciously.
At least the sign's not buzzing.
I know, and I do appreciate it. But now, and as it says in all the books, branding is... If only it's spelled out a whole new world. That would send my business soaring.
The sign looked... I wasn't going to leave without investigating Vera's role in the robbery. Smell this!
Ooh. At least it's the real thing.
Do you have any use for nail clippers?
No.
I've got some matches.
Always good to
Aha. That seemed like a good name. Hey, Bassam, how about this? I know it's not your name, but...
Aladdin. Very cool. That's a terrific name for my store. Hits every one of my USPs.
Glad you like it.
You're a genius, George. Let me know if I can do anything for you. Aha, Mr. Stobart. What can I do for you?
Do you happen to know a good way to...
To be honest, George, I'm better at questions on balancing budgets within a liberal economic framework. But as a layman, perhaps I could suggest you trap it? And please, whatever...
Why's that?
The entire family will catch the scent and arrive for the funeral.
Ooh, we don't want that.
You need to find a container of some sort. Then I think add this.
Rich tea. Well, what's that, a cookie?
The perfect cockroach biscuit. Dry, dull, unsatisfying, and yet curiously Moorish.
I'll give it a try.
Glad to help.
So what are you selling?
Ah, I'm glad you asked. I sell all those things you can't get anywhere else in Paris.
Like?
English biscuits, Turkish delight, French cassettes, Brazilian Betamax videos.
Thank you for the cook.
You're very welcome.
I added some bait to the matchbox. Even I was finding it hard to resist that little trap. Gotcha!
You are a gentleman and no mistake. I hate cockroaches.
Always ready to help a damsel in distress.
I bet you are. Can I help you?
Yes, please. Do you know if there's anyone in the office I can talk business with?
Yes, me, chérie. I'm Annette, the manager.
Oh, gosh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean... The gloves. I just thought...
Ah, easy mistake to make. If you haven't been reconstructed, that is.
Oh, but I have been reconstructed. A number of times. From the ground up. The Vera phone. All expenses had been spared. Even the plant looked depressed.
Look, do you mind not touching the office equipment?
Annette's peripheral vision was, quite simply, astounding. She might talk to me now.
What can I do for you?
There's been a theft at Le Lézard Bleu. A painting's been stolen.
Shame. Still, I'm sure you'll get over it.
I believe your company set up the security.
Oh, no, we didn't.
Oh, yes, you did.
Didn't.
Did.
I've got all day.
But I didn't. It says here that Vera was hired to do the security at the gallery. Didn't do a very good job, did you?
Where did you get that?
At the gallery.
That job was signed off. You can't say we were to blame.
I was getting a bad feeling. The place looked like a front, and the only person there wasn't helping. Maybe the office itself could give me more information.
Are you done? Only I want to listen to this next race.
Do you recognize it?
Oof! That would take the hair off your legs. I had a boss who wore that. Know what I mean?
Thanks.
Please stay on the other side of the counter.
It was like she had some kind of psychic power. She could just feel what I was trying to do.
Hello, Vera Security. We make you secure. I said, please stay on the other side of the counter. Look, do you mind not touching?
Annette's peripheral vision.
Wrong number again, damn nuisance calls.
I wasn't going to talk to Nico about this place with the manager listening in.
Do you mind? I'm listening to the race.
Annette was watching me like a hawk. Nope, I needed... Hey, Nico. I've arrived at Vera Security. It's a pretty seedy outfit.
Great. Anything else?
Not right now.
Well, call back if you find anything.
Mr. Rickenbacker? I decided to pay a visit to Vera Security, the company that Henri used.
Great. Get digging and find out what you can. Hello, Vera Security?
George Stobart here.
I can see you through the window, monsieur. Why don't you come in and stop wasting my time?
What can I do for you?
Annette, could I just have a quick look in your back office?
What do you take me for?
What? No. I mean, can I look in there?
Oh, I see. No, you can't. It's private.
Are you betting on a horse?
No, I just like hearing the sound of hooves.
Oh, well, that's unusual.
Don't be an idiot. I got 50 euros on Lucky Break.
Ah, well, I hope you win.
So do I, chérie. So do I. Yeah, you've shown me already.
Do these clippers look familiar?
Yes. I mean, no. Why should they look familiar?
Do you recognize it?
I had a boss who wore... No, thanks.
I've got some matches.
Yes, I saw you pick them up. Keep them. I can't afford to...
I've got a cookie.
Those dry things are disgusting.
I caught the cockroach. Look, isn't he a sweetie?
Ah! Keep it away from me!
Thanks. She might talk to me now. She might talk to me now. The Vera phone.
Yes?
Thanks. Romanovs. The ashtray was full of...
Aha, Mr. Stobart.
So, what else?
Stop by now and then. You'll be surprised.
No kidding? I caught the cockroach, look.
Excellent work. Just don't let it loose near my stall. In a few weeks, this place is going to be buzzing with people, I hope, not vermin.
I think I'll keep him. I'll name him Trevor.
Interesting name. Old school, comforting, harmless. I can see you're quite a strategic thinker, George.
I really like your new sign.
It's magnificent. I owe you one.
What do you think?
I'm over the moon, George. Thanks to you, I can now sell my retro cavalcade of musical cards, brushes, souvenirs. And you know what they say, happy sellers make happy shoppers.
That cookie did the trick.
Right customer, right product. It's a winning combination.
I didn't think there was much. I decided to... I've got some matches.
Always good to have.
Thank you for the cookie.
You're very welcome.
The place looked like it had been out of business for a while. The aircon went nicely with the Art Deco detailing. I decided to... Annette had her radio on. Sounded like a horse race.
Do you mind? I'm listening to the race.
Annette was watching me like a hawk.
Hello, Vera Security. We make you secure. Wrong number again. Damn nuisance calls.
A quick look revealed that the drawer was empty.
Hello, Vera Security. We make you secure. Wrong number again. Damn nuisance calls. Please stay on the others. Hello, Vera Security. We make you secure. Wrong number again. Damn nuisance calls.
The office looked like...
Look, do you mind not...
Annette's peripheral... Annette had her radio on.
What can I do for you?
Thanks. She might talk to...
Hello, Vera Security. We make you secure.
I'd already adjusted the radio.
Wrong number again. Damn nuisance calls.
I'd already adjusted the radio.
Hello, Vera Security. We make you secure. Wrong number again, damn nuisance calls. Please stay on the other side of the counter.
That was never... I didn't want to leave that. That... I didn't want to... The ashtray was full of cigarette butts. Romanov's. It was empty. Vera's security. I was going to get some answers there. I hoped.
Uh-huh.
That cookie did the trick.
Right customer, right product.
So...
Anything retro, George. The past's the future. And you know what? He who controls the past...
The Vera phone. All expenses had been spared. The Vera phone. She might talk to me now. Annette had her radio on. Sounded like a horse race.
Do you mind? I'm listening to the race.
Annette was watching me like a hawk. The office looked like it had been put together in a hurry. That was never going to work.
Hello, we're security. We make you secure.
That would be pointless.
Wrong number again. Damn nuisance calls.
That was almost a great idea. Almost. That was never going to work. That was almost a great idea. Almost. I caught the cockroach. Look, isn't he a sweetie?
Ah! Keep it away from me! I said, please stay on the other side of the counter. Yes?
Do you recognize it?
Oof! That would take the hair off your legs. I had a boss who...
Do these clippers look familiar?
Yes. I mean, no. Why should they look familiar? Yeah, you've shown me already.
I've got a cookie.
Those dry things are disgusting. No thanks.
I've got some matches.
Yes, I saw you pick them up. Keep them. I can't afford to smoke anymore.
I caught the cockroach.
Ah! Keep it away from me!
Thanks. She might talk to me now.
Hello, we're security. We make you secure. Wrong number again. Damn nuisance calls.
A quick look revealed that the drawer was empty. Vera's security. I was going to get some answers. That was never. The place looked like it had been out of. That was almost a great idea. Almost. That was never going to happen. I only had a few matches. Using one now probably wasn't a good idea. The aircon went nicely with the Art Deco detailing. The aircon went nicely with the Art Deco detailing. The place looked like it had been out. The place looked very much like temporary accommodation. That was never going to work. That wasn't worth trying.
Hands off, mister.
Can I just have a look?
Certainly not. That book is very private.
It was a little black book.
Hello, Vera Security. We make you secure. Wrong number again. Damn nuisance calls.
I wanted to see what secrets the book might contain. There was a photo. Of course, I grabbed it. Recognize this?
Hey, that's my photo.
That's you with Lane, I believe.
So, what if it is?
What is he to you?
Oh, my Hector, that's what he is. My little Hector.
Yeah, I thought you said you had nothing to do with the gallery.
Look, here's how it is. I've only been here a few weeks. I had nothing to do with that gallery job. I just delivered the paperwork.
So, who's the manager before you?
I don't know. She just, one day, didn't come in for work. I shouldn't be talking to you. The boss told me to keep my mouth shut.
She might talk to me now.
What can I do for you?
The boss. Have you got his number or address?
No, I've forgotten it. I mean, I never knew it.
Annette, a serious crime has been committed. You're in a lot of trouble.
I had nothing to do with it. Look, I need this job. I need the money. Anyway, it's only a silly old painting. No one got hurt.
The gallery owner was shot.
Badly?
Yeah, he's pretty dead.
Oh.
This is a murder investigation. Now, who's your boss?
I don't know. Honest, he faxes me if he wants anything.
He? Who's he?
I've never seen him, never met him. Don't make trouble for poor Annette.
Thanks. I was pretty sure Annette had told me all she was going to. She sounded scared. Time to put the thumb screws on Lane, and I knew just how. I was pretty sure Annette had... Time to confront Lane. The gallery was sealed off. The place looked... Lane wasn't exactly easy to miss, and it looked like he wasn't around. The door was locked and sealed off with police. I needed to find Lane, and I was The gallery was empty. It looked like Lane was somewhere else. Hi.
Monsieur?
I'm looking for Mr. Lane. Has he been here?
Ah, yes, monsieur. He came by earlier. Told me he was off to console Henri's widow. I hope she's out.
So Lane was consoling the widow. What a big heart that guy had. Did he have a grand scheme or just loose morals? Paris sure had a lot of similar-looking cafes. Paris sure had a... Tony's Brasserie. Parisian spring fashion. I recognized the name. The door was locked.
Hello?
This is George Stobart. May I come up?
I'm sorry, this is a very inconvenient time. Come back later.
I know that's you, Mr. Lane. I need to talk to you. I need to talk to Madame Dubois.
I'm sure it can wait.
Mr. Lane, does the name Annette mean anything to you?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. If you don't let me in, I'll tell the police about your interesting connection to the security company.
All right then. Come up, but make it brief.
Dear Lord, George, you have the worst timing.
Is this a bad time to accuse you of lying?
What do you want?
I've just come from Vera's security.
So?
Tell me about Annette.
Who?
From Vera Security.
I don't know any Annette.
I'm surprised you let your conquests keep souvenirs.
Ugh. Where did you get that?
Annette lent it to me.
Quit waving it around, for God's sake.
Come on, Lane. Tell me about Annette.
All right. I had a fling with her, okay? Now keep your voice down, please.
And you two fixed the security for the robbery?
No, nothing like that. Anyway, the fling was a mistake. She turned out to be rather needy.
I believe you. You're not a criminal, just a lecherous old man.
Less of the old, if you don't mind. As it happens, I make a lot of women happy.
Especially when you leave them. Can you tell me anything about the owner of Vera?
Annette told me he's some angry-looking Russian chap.
Okay, Lane. Take off.
You can't tell me what to do.
You want me to show Bijou this picture?
All right, I'm going. You haven't heard the last of me, Stobart.
Promise?
And give me that photo.
If Lane was telling the truth, that meant that Annette was lying. She said she'd never met the owner and was very keen to get rid of me. I wondered if she was hiding something interesting in that back office.
Are you going to introduce yourself properly?
Pleased to make your acquaintance, madame. My name's George Stobart.
Call me Bijou.